Just shy of 3 years ago, me and my buddy Zach got together to nerd out about the upcoming Batman movie. Hey everyone, this is Two Left Thumbs. I'm Graham. I'm here with Zach. At that point, Matt Reeves was attached to direct. Robert Pattinson was this close to being cast. I think it was confirmed just days after we filmed that video. But at that point, we didn't know anything else about what to expect about the Batman. We hung out and talked for about 3.5 hours. I cut that into 2 videos, both 1 hour each. One of them was our wish list for this movie, things that we felt we most wanted to see in a Batman movie. And the second video was attempting to cast basically every possible character from Batman's rogues gallery as a scattershot, because we didn't know what to expect yet. If you want to see two guys nerd out super hard about all things Batman, then maybe you'll enjoy those old videos. I will absolutely link to them down below. They exist on a totally different channel, but I'm gonna rattle through it really quickly to see which things from our wish list actually made it into the final video. Maybe an appearance from Catwoman. Thanks for the great timing there, Misty. Although I kind of had to force it to make sense within what I was talking about. Oh my god, you have like a booger on your nose, you filthy animal. Oh, she screwed up my focus. Now it just looks like things are blurry out of frame intentionally. Look at me, Matt Reeves over here. Hire me. This movie delivered on a lot of things I wanted, and plenty of things I didn't even know that I wanted. Besides, we're all gonna forget about the Batman in less than a month anyways, when the true Batman movie releases and becomes the greatest comic book movie of all time. Let's start ripping through that list. I was gonna cut up and rearrange things a whole bunch, and I think what I need to do is just watch this video in the order that I originally shared it in, that hour, and I'll chime in every time we make a point of something specific that either did or didn't make it into the movie. I'll cut out the 45 minutes worth of tangents that we go on. I'm stoked. I think Matt Reeves is the guy. I think he's a perfect choice for directing the movie.
I haven't seen a lot of his stuff, but I know he did the last 2 Planet of the Apes movies.
Did you see all 3?
Oh, God, yeah. The fact that he's going to be making a Batman movie, he knows how to do tension.
Oh, yeah. And build up. And so I'm very hopeful Matt Reeves does a trilogy. It'll be a trilogy no matter what, probably, but hopefully it's Matt Reeves the whole time. Yes, we were correct. Matt Reeves rules. I've been a fan for a long time, and he was absolutely the right choice for this movie. There's like almost not a chance that they don't give him a trilogy, and now honestly what I actually want is like 6 Matt Reeves Pattinson movies. We'll see whether or not we get that. When in Batman's story or life do you want this to take place? So help me God if they make me watch Batman's parents get shot and the pearls fall, and they make me watch that one more time, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Okay, thank you. Because that was...
Do the homecoming thing and skip the Ben Parker, you know?
Yeah.
And yes, Matt Reeves did not include Bruce Wayne's parents getting shot in the back alley. Thank you for sparing us that.
I don't want year 1. I've heard a lot of people talk about how great it would be. It's not. It's fine. Like, it's a good story. We don't need it. It's the origin. We don't need to seem like, oh, it's all Bat, and I put on a Bat costume.
I don't think I care to watch Batman get good at what he does. I just want to see him be sweet. It's funny that Zach specifically says he doesn't want year 1, and we ended up getting year 2 Batman. So I think that ended up working out well, and I completely take back me saying that I didn't want to see an experienced Batman. Now that I've seen that put to film, it's incredible, and it gives them so much room to build up the character, Batman and Bruce Wayne. So I was wrong. Having an inexperienced Batman was a great call.
So yeah, like, have him be established, and the other thing I would like, if it's early on in his career, this is going to be a Batman that is committed to his goals, he's committed to the mission. He is going to be a very hard, like, angry person. This is going to be brooding Bruce Wayne at his best. He doesn't believe in love. He is, like, no family.
Still all the edge, all the cynicism.
Yeah.
None of the, like,
and
there's hope for me to have my own life.
Yeah, like, this is very much all I have is the goal. I need to clean up Gotham. There's nothing else. I'm laser focused. And you can have him soften up over 3, 4, 5 movies if you want. God knows how long they're going to cast Robert Pattinson.
Or it would be really dope to soften him up and then take it away from him, like, and watch him go unhinged or whatever. Like,
are you talking about Death of the Family? Are you talking about killing a Robin in front of him? Because I would be down.
Zach's description of what he wanted this version of the character to be is exactly the movie. A version who does not care about being Bruce Wayne. All he cares about is the mission, being Batman and going out there and beating the hell out of goons to protect his city. Zack elevator pitched this movie years before it was released, and we knew nothing about it. I would for sure watch a movie of what the hell is the Mr. Freeze storyline that they wrote? Like,
yeah, I have that one on my list too. Heart of Ice.
Heart of Ice. I would watch that movie for sure. I don't know if that's like the direction I would necessarily want to see these movies go, because I kind of came up with my own thing. But if they chose to do that, I'm down, because that's like, that shit won Emmys and like permanently changed the origin of that character and everything. I'm so excited that he and I brought up Heart of Ice, because now that this first movie has come out, Matt Reeves has specifically said he thinks Mr. Freeze would be a cool villain to do next. And man, if he just faithfully does Heart of Ice, I'm sold.
I just have wanted this for so long, and they keep teasing it and they never do it. I want to see the world's greatest detective. Be a detective for a minute.
When I put together my list, things I specifically want in this movie that aren't storylines, just like character things, the first one I just detective focus.
Yeah, he's like...
which Matt Reeves said he's doing. I can't pat ourselves on the back too hard for saying we wanted a detective-focused movie. Everyone was kind of saying it at the time, and really early on from Matt Reeves getting involved, he said that was also the direction he wanted to take this movie. So, yay, we were right, but like I'm gonna like take that out of our wins column. We didn't really predict anything there.
Give me one scene where it's like there's a murder, and they're like, oh, who is this? And it's Gordon and Batman being all moody, and like Batman's just a shadow talking to Gordon. You almost never see him. It's just like the cowl and the silhouette, and he's just kind of like moving around the apartment, and he goes, I think I found something, and he talks about it and then just jumps out the window and goes. That would be great.
Yeah, there's a lot to play on with that relationship there, where like Gordon's a very competent detective and everything, but like it would just be funny to see him like do something very competent and like successfully find like a meaningful clue, and then get just super outclassed by Batman, being like, that's only a part of the story there, Gordon.
Yeah.
But that one I am giving us credit for. Zach and I independently both outlined very early scenes in that movie, obviously not one-to-one, but we essentially got those two beats play out in a major way in this movie. I actually have to like rewind that clip for a second here.
Being
like, that's only a part of the story there, Gordon.
Yeah.
Buddy. That was just a throwaway joke, making fun of myself for the way that I phrased it. This is how these two talk to each other in the movie. Gordon's calling him dude and man throughout the whole thing. I don't know if he ever uses buddy, but weirdly, that offhanded comment also applies.
A couple small other character beats I'd really like for him. I don't want to see him do any voices like this.
What did you feel about the Affleck one where it auto-changed it? Like, he's not doing it.
I literally have on my list voice modulator, not Bale voice.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. Affleck sounded dope. He was scary.
And, I like Christian Bale's voice in the first Batman movie. I thought that was really good, because he did the kind of deep, gruff voice, and when he had to drop to that deeper register, it was actually scary. That swear to me line. I fist pumped because that was so Batman.
That shit's cool.
But then he decided to swear to me for 2 full movies. It felt like. We
seemed to both agree that we liked the idea of the voice modulator. I think Robert Pattinson plays the Batman voice subtly enough that it ended up working. And so I'm totally fine that we were wrong about that one. Maybe Zach would feel different.
One of the best part of the Arkham games is when you're just like, oh, I'm in a room with 40 guys. I'm going to not let any of them see me, and I'm going to take them all out. This is
the point I have below detective focus. Love the action in Batman vs. Superman. That scene in the tall construction thing where he just beats the shit out of 20 people.
When he burst through the wall, it was one of those things where you knew what was coming. And I think I leaned forward in the seat, because in my head I pictured all the times I hid behind a wall and burst out in Arkham. Sure, we had a few moments with Bale taking out the guys in Dark Knight, but it was pretty minimal. But yeah, him just slowly taking out all the guys who worked at the building, and then the one guy just walking with the gun, and he just reaches through the wall and pulls him back. I was like, we're finally getting Batman being Batman.
So Matt Reeves didn't end up going for that full-on, swinging around ninja-style Batman vs. Superman fighting, but it was a step above the haymaker-throwing Dark Knight trilogy Batman, and we do get a scene of Batman beating up 20 faceless goons, stringing up as many of them as he can. We basically did get that. It's not entirely how the character operates, but we still managed to check a box there. Did you ever play the game movie tie-in for Batman Begins?
Yes.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
That entire thing is not about combat. It's entirely
fear.
Stealth, fear, and ninja tactics. If he stealths around, crawls around, does entirely fear tactics, does shit jumps at people through walls and stuff, or sets up elaborate traps with his cool gizmos and everything. I'm down for
the
that.
beauty of that was, even with the fear thing, once he had them scared enough, he could still just beat them hand to hand.
Then it would be that much easier to incapacitate someone without killing them, probably, because they're shitting their pants already.
We didn't end up getting to see a ton of stealthy Batman. In fact, he barely bothers besides like one scene. He kind of announces himself by stomping his boots in, and it's so amazing the way he does it. But something that was in Batman Begins was fear, controlling the city through fear and making sure that these thugs aren't even willing to commit crime because they worry Batman's going to be there. That is the exact opening of this movie. I'm so happy they leaned heavily into that.
I mean, I've wanted this for a long time. Guys on the IGN Keeping It Real podcast pitched for years. They would just like to see a superhero movie start with a superhero taking on a B-list villain.
So we didn't end up getting Batman directly beating some B-list villain, but Zach outlines the idea.
You're doing it so it's like you got the crime and you start to hear things and you're being introduced to Batman from the criminal's perspective. And
oh shit!
Like
he's like crawling through vents or like going across the screen like Alien or whatever.
Yeah, you see like the flick of the cape, or you'll hear a rustle, or you'll see like an arm pull back. Not kind of similar to the way
in the shipping yard or whatever, right?
Like
where
that.
He gets plucked up.
And finally, the last guy, you can just Assassin's Creed Arkham Knight, just like drop off the ceiling and just land on the guy, and he stands up. And hell, that's when you flash Batman on the title, and he just like slowly looks at the camera or something,
bringing in the criminal's perspective and showing how much they have come to fear Batman and the concept of the Bat. And so he called that directly.
It's not going to look like Ben Affleck Batman completely, because you're going to see it from the criminal's perspective of they're terrified of this man in a bat suit. So he's going to look a bit more grotesque and a bit more freakish to them.
A less dramatic version of the like fear gas version of Batman we see in Begins.
And you couldn't really do it where like he looked at this demonic bat and then like he lands and he's in the regular bat suit. But just that notion of even getting like a 5-minute scene of you are getting the on the ground reaction to someone like Batman. And I think it'd be really cool to get introduced to Batman, because like we all know Batman kicks ass, but if you're seeing like Joe Blow trying to rob a bank, like bust an ATM, kind of like the Spider-Man movie, and all of a sudden Batman comes in, you're shitting your pants.
Zach pitched something totally out there and unique. I don't know. I would have to see it play out. I think it's a cool concept, and it's kind of like a one-time trick. The fact that they didn't use it during the fear montage at the beginning of this first movie means we're probably never really going to see it play out. And so it was a neat, unique idea. It didn't end up making it into the movie.
Here's one thing I don't want. Stop revealing your identity.
To all superheroes?
All superheroes. Batman's notorious.
He tells his girlfriend in the Dark Knight trilogy, Alfred obviously knows.
Gordon, I think.
He basically tells Gordon at the end. He tells Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, more or less. Like
Ra's al Ghul, Talia al Ghul, Bane.
Holy shit, a lot of people do know, don't
Lucius
they?
knows.
Oh my god, right. Yeah, everyone knows.
that was an easy one. He doesn't tell anyone.
So if we jumped into a movie where we already have fully ready to go Batman, and there's a couple villains around, like someone that he can beat the hell out of in the first 5 minutes, someone who can be like a B storyline or whatever, and then like someone who comes forward as the main, or introduce a new character for the main or whatever, but then in the second movie it could be like an Arkham breach or whatever, and you realize that like a lot of these characters have already been around and we just didn't see them in the first movie, and there could be throwbacks to like back when I took down Freeze or whatever.
Here I kind of started outlining what a potential trilogy might look like. I kind of jump all over the place by thinking of how these 3 movies start playing out, and I kind of hand tie myself there by picturing it only as a 3-movie arc. I think a lot of these ideas would work better stretched out further. But the idea of an Arkham breach, or generally just letting loose criminals in a second movie, seems to be very much the direction they're headed. Not so much specifically everyone coming from Arkham, but we're about to have this huge power struggle. I hope desperately now that when they make this second movie, they don't time jump to after the flood, and they deal with the fact that immediately has insane repercussions for Gotham.
Reveal bits and pieces of their origin through his detective work or through like conversations and things.
Freaking dialogue can explain a lot. It's amazing.
Yeah, and it can be done in a way that's not like beat over the head expository. Like it can be sprinkled in organic ways where they're trying to like, well, they're like, oh, well, we know that Poison Ivy could never do this because of back when she became Poison Ivy. Like, I don't care. You can give it 2 lines of dialogue, and that's fine. I don't need to watch every single villain become a villain.
So that is basically how they ended up handling the Riddler. We just have his origin and his background story given to us in small little ways, and eventually he does come around and kind of explain in much more direct details. So we kind of had a bit of both there, and I like how it played out in the movie. But we do get bits and pieces of dialogue that tell us more about Falcone, Maroni, and the Penguin. We get to know more about those characters throughout the movie in subtle ways. And so the movie kind of ended up doing all of these different ways of introducing characters, and so I'm very happy with that.
Here's a way to do it. If we get, like, kind of classic Batman with the giant
Bat pewter?
The bat pewter that's friggin' got the 400-inch TV screen on it.
So impractical. You gotta turn your neck to see shit. Just scroll.
It looks cool. That's all
it
that
does
matters.
look cool. I don't think we have a bat computer. He basically uses like a dual screen setup or something. It's like nothing crazy excessive.
But you'd be like, oh, he's trying to catch the penguin, and he's researching the penguin, and there's like, we all do this. We're on our computer. We've got like 4 different windows are open. You can literally just have one playing a news clip, like going like, oh, the penguin, Oswald Cobblepot, blah 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 blah.
Well, yeah, because everyone knows that the Penguin is Oswald Cobblepot, right?
Yeah,
it's not even a disguise or whatever. Like, people don't know who the Riddler is, but they know who the Penguin is, right? So that would be a really easy one to be like, billionaire Oswald Cobblepot comes unhinged, murders party full of guests or whatever, like Vicky Vale in the background or something, like just reporting on it. I actually had to go and look this up because we specifically use the Penguin and Riddler as examples here. So in my mind, I thought to myself, like, well, yeah, so obviously we must have already known they were going to be present in the movie, and that's why we fished them out as examples. Not the case. There was an old headline from like September 2019 that Jonah Hill had entered negotiations to play one of those 2 characters. So it was like 4 months after this video that those characters were coming up in the conversation.
Have you heard the rumors that like the Batman movie could have 6 villains in it?
Yeah, because
it's like I either see Catwoman and Penguin, or I see 6 villains.
So based on this, Zach had heard a rumor that I hadn't, that apparently 2 versions of the movie that were being pitched were Catwoman and the Penguin, or like 6 villains. I remember having heard the 6 villain rumor back in the day. I hadn't heard the Catwoman Penguin rumor. That one ended up being very, very true. There can be like another point in the movie where the plot is starting to ramp up, where he is like investigating a warehouse or whatever, where his like series of clues have led him, and it turns out it was like a red herring, and he's stumbled onto something that Two-Face is up to, and he has like a run-in, but then it's like that's still not that puts him on to like the next direction of what he's actually trying to solve or something. So we didn't really have anything like this play out, although there is seemingly a very overt tease to Hush in this movie, and so there is a real chance, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out in the future of this franchise here, there is a chance that this little sort of tangential tease setup is present in this movie, and it's just more subtle than I would have expected.
I don't need to see dirty cops in this first movie.
Oh, really?
Like, I'm sure they're there, but we don't need them.
Yeah, Batman's dealing with enough. I'll have to hit Zach up and see how he feels about that, because this movie is very, very strongly centered on dirty cops. Gotham is a fictional city. It can be its own thing. It can be unique. Batman Begins kind of had this super grungy underbelly sleazebag city, and that was kind of interesting. Then they were just like filming them in daytime and stuff, and they didn't really dress it up or anything. But like, that is something that Spider-Man doesn't have. Spider-Man's in New York, and that's super cool because New York's a unique city, and then you can lean into a bunch of New Yorkness. But like, Gotham doesn't exist on a map anywhere. I've seen these cool concept arts that people have done where it's like this neo-tech Blade Runner, like future city that fell apart. It doesn't have to be that extreme, but like, it doesn't have to be big 19-story tall animated billboards or whatever, but like, dress it up a little, make it unique, make it something that
give us the blimps.
Yeah, the blimps from the whole animated series and stuff. Like, be weird and unique with it and daring in a way that it makes it stand out.
But also not giant statues like Batman and Robin.
Right.
Because that was weird.
People are very fixated on like the gothic aesthetic from the Tim Burton stuff, and I think that works, but like, we've seen that a lot.
Yeah, I think a good reference point that's like a hybrid between the two is Scott Snyder's run on Batman. That it was the New 52 reboot, and it was him and Greg Capullo. And early on, it's Bruce like redesigning Gotham, and he's building a new Wayne Tower, and even has the hooks for the blimps, and he like blatantly says it. And someone in the room was like, "I love the animated series." Yeah, it was a reference for that.
That's super funny.
But it's like, it's this notion that it was that like kind of, it was a gothic city dying, and it's also being rebuilt. So you've got like, some of the buildings are going to look super old, and it's going to have a bit of a New York feel to it, but you can make it more unique.
I do like the idea that it's like, it's decaying but trying to pull itself back up. So it's like, you have these seedy underbellies, but then you also have these like bright spots of like Wayne Tower and stuff where you're trying to like usher in the new era.
And failing horribly.
Which is kind of the whole thing with Batman, of trying to
do away with the...
Are you trying to turn an entire city into a storyline for the character's arc over the last 20 years?
That's all anyone ever does with cities and movies, and you might as well keep doing it. It's like the city's a character in the movie. Now, obviously, the version of Gotham that we got pulled from plenty of different influences. It's so grimy and seedy and broken, and it does have really tall electronic billboards. That weirdly specifically did make it into the movie. It's hard to say like exactly what the complete list of influences were, but they did give us a unique Gotham, and it's really funny that now Matt Reeves repeatedly says that he views Gotham as a character, so it's funny that we kind of hit on the same idea as old Matty boy. Again, so many of these opinions aren't coming exclusively from us. I'm very proud of the fact that the things that we felt were important are largely the things that ended up in these movies, but it's not like we were the first people to ever say, I hope they do Gotham justice and make it feel like a unique city. A lot of people felt that at the time. And the fact that this movie did give us such a distinct Gotham was such a huge part of why the movie worked for me. No blimps and giant statues, though. I'm determined if I'm upset about that or not. If we get a Matt Reeves trilogy, which is what I would love to see, I don't know, maybe the first movie sucks and I have to eat my own words. I'm putting a lot of faith in him pulling it off. If we're doing a detective-heavy movie, which sounds like what's happening and that's what people want, start with some form of Court of Owls.
That's on my list.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I ended up being super wrong by pitching the idea of Court of Owls being the first movie, but it's come up in conversation so often at this point in, like, the press tours and things. Jeffrey Wright and Robert Pattinson are out there nerding about Court of Owls.
Oh,
bro, you gotta go read Court of Owls.
Court of Owls is the best one.
I didn't read Court of Owls. Good.
So my thought of Court of Owls would be, they're pulling the strings, and it's like that mystery of like who's setting this up, and you don't realize it's them until probably after the second movie, and they're like the main villain of the third one. If that makes sense, because like they are the secret society pulling the strings.
Zach's version of the pitch seems much more likely that subtle ways that strings were being pulled potentially as far back as this first movie could be revealed to be the Court of Owls. That could end up being super cool. But the second movie would be like an Arkham Breakout or something. Give us an inside look at Arkham. Give us like 6 villains or something. Maybe have like Hush as the main or something. He like grew up with Hush, right? It was like his childhood friend.
Yes.
And so like you can play off that a little bit. It's like someone who probably knows that Batman is Bruce. Hush is like doing it targetedly, being like, this is how I'm going to bring Bruce and Batman down. I kind of was repeating myself here by suggesting that there be an Arkham Breakout for a second movie, but I don't think I had specifically placed before where I hoped that would take place across this hypothetical trilogy. But I wanted to include this clip because I specifically said I thought Hush would be a cool introduction to make, and that is seemingly something that's coming in a future movie. Maybe that tease was meant to just be a little wink and not a proper setup. I think Clayface would be really cool on screen. You could play around with shit in such a fun way with that character.
Because Clayface is also one of the characters that popped up on my list. I'm like, I would like to see this, but I thought of a clever way that you can do it where it builds up, where he's like, maybe he's a hitman for the mob, and then like, and Bruce is fighting him a few times, and maybe like one time like he hits him, and there's like the fleck of mud hits the wall, and then he like runs away, and Batman's like, what's this mud? He has to do like detective work.
Yeah, there's some fun detective potential there too, because if he's like feels like he's tracking individual people, and it's just like the string of red herrings and everything, and it turns out it's been Clayface like setting people up all over. That's cool.
Oh
that's
man,
cool.
I didn't even think of that. I was thinking of like random faces, but yeah, like
because like presumably he has their fingerprints and shit, right? So like he could be like legit caught in the act or like leaving evidence and things, and so this whole detective narrative, I'm making this up on the fly, it's not on my list, but
don't worry, it works really well.
We could have this whole detective narrative of Batman chasing down things, and it doesn't add up, and he's like stressing out because he's like the best at it, and this doesn't add up.
All of a sudden it's like Gordon, Montoya, and Bullock are like the 3 suspects for a bunch of murders or something.
Yeah, make his closest allies like start to feel like they become involved. Like, not that they're immediately the main villains or whatever, but it's like, shit, I think they might be corrupt. Like, this goes deeper than I thought or whatever. And boom, it's Clayface. That'd be a cool movie. I like that.
That worked out so much better than my idea for Clayface. I was like, just make him a hitman, he can change his face, and he eventually becomes a big mud monster.
But yeah, where you could have those cool moments where there's like weird shit that doesn't make sense. Like, it's a muddy footprint and it hasn't rained in a week or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, like... Now, we really freeballed this idea of Clayface being a future villain, and I'm still just like proud
of the general concept and like the mental, like the psychological aspect of a movie like that. I don't know. Now that we're starting to juggle these ideas like Court of Owls or doing a big Arkham Breakout or a Long Halloween or a Heart of Ice movie, I don't see a lot of room for Clayface unless they did something like a Mr. Freeze Clayface movie where Batman's trying to deal with this lunatic who's freezing the city while constantly being side-railed by this guy who's tricking him through all his clay machinations. I don't know.
And then the only other idea I had is while you're exploring that Arkham stuff, you can start laying seeds for the Joker if we want to redo that. I don't know entirely if that's the best route to go, but if they do, then it has to be a death in the family, which means you have to set up Robin in movie 2 so that he can be killed in movie 3. If they want to go that route, which would be so crazy to see, it requires a lot of groundwork to lay out, and I don't know if that's the route they would want to go. So my third movie, now that I look at it, I don't like very much. I would love to see that, but like that's hard to build up to and hard to execute. I don't know.
I agree. I can kind of do without the Joker for a while, and I love the Joker.
Mm-hmm. I don't think in a million years did either of us think they would lay the groundwork for the Joker in this first movie. If anything, I'm not all that stoked about that. But I think a future point we talk about kind of leads into that or fits in with it in a way that makes me not totally upset about it, even though I don't think it was necessary. And so, yeah, again, I should say there that if they're going to do Death in the Family, I hope they don't do it in 3 movies. Stretch that out.
So I don't need this Gotham Batman is directly tied to every single villain. He's directly related to their friggin' birth. Like, right, I have no problem with it being like, because they made in the comics like Batman's like, oh, like, you may not have caused them all, but your presence has caused them all. Not like, oh, hey, I pushed you into the pit, and oh, I couldn't save you, so you became crazy, and I accidentally hit your cat with my Batmobile when I was chasing the Joker, and like crap like that.
I do just like the idea that like antagonists come up to oppose him as a force.
And once again, Zach's deeper comic knowledge than mine is shining through here, because I think we're both saying like the same thing, but Zach hits the nail much more directly on the head. That these characters grow to become the villains we know them as because of the presence of Batman. And Matt Reeves has started saying in interviews, he views it that many of these villains already exist and maybe they haven't come up with their alter egos yet. And the very fact that the Batman is now around, running around scaring people, beating them up, has encouraged them, the way it did the Riddler, to now adopt this persona and step out and start acting more openly in their attempts to destroy Gotham. And so Zach, I think, was really lasering in on that. Him and Matt Reeves must have some sort of direct psychological mental link going on here. The amount of times that he seems to have taken the words out of Matt's mouth 3 years earlier.
The one thing I would like to see, and I don't know how you would do it, The Long Halloween would be fantastic, because that leans in the detective work and will frustrate viewers to no end.
Yeah.
Because readers are still trying to figure out that story.
And that's one that I specifically have read that you lent me years ago, and like incredible, amazing comic.
I told my mother to read it.
God, that's got to be so difficult to adapt. But like, if you could fit that in as like a movie 2 or 3 after you've already started introducing some of these people, like the villains or whatever.
Well, the thing is, if you were to say Robert Pattinson signs on for like 9 movies, like Chris Evans did.
In that full video, we talk about The Long Halloween for 7 minutes or something. I included it here because when I sat down to watch this movie and Batman starts reading out his journal, and I think the very first night is October 31st, something like fired in my brain where I was like, oh god, these trailers have shown us nothing. We're about to witness The Long Halloween put to film. I thought there was going to be like 6 secret villains or something. Not quite. I still hope they build that. Like, if they make that movie, I'd still be into it.
One of the ideas I wrote down was going back on building from a criminal perspective. It'd be kind of cool to do one from Gotham's perspective. Like, just do it from like Gordon. Like, and I know that's kind of the Gotham TV series.
When you say Gotham perspective, do you mean like the
GCPD?
Gotham,
yeah. Just the notion of like, maybe it's Batman in his early days and he hasn't quite done the deed of becoming friends with Gordon, and it's the cops going like, who is this guy?
I think you're pitching Todd McFarlane's
Spawn movie. Yeah. Don't worry, I'm aware.
Okay. I kept this clip because Zach basically ended up pitching the Gotham City Police Department show that Matt Reeves started developing while working on this movie. Again, Zach, ahead of the curve there. Now, at this point, more recently, that has evolved, apparently, and is going to be more of like an Arkham-centric show. But the idea that Zach was pitching world-building this version of Batman through more of this ground-level thing, slightly removed from Batman, yeah, these two share a brain.
What I would really like to see for this first movie, just to be different, do like a one night. The movie takes like one night, sort of like Judge Dredd raid kind of thing.
Ooh, I'm sold. Do it. Yes, I want this. Do this. Make the second movie like 4 or 5 different villains all trying to take control of Gotham at once, and Batman has one night to try and stop all of it, and he just has like this 8-hour long attempt to run around the city and stop everything. Basically, the only way that would work is if we steer away from the detective stuff, but maybe they can find a way to kind of give and take and balance that across the larger series.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it, but like I think it'd be cool to do like a one night only storyline.
I do like that.
Because that way, like, you get introduced to Batman, you get to introduce how he's just goal driven. He's gonna go all night to save this person. You can introduce a new villain. You can keep it a small cast.
It's very. I like the idea because the thing you keep coming back to of like on the ground, it's not like Batman and then Bruce Wayne and then at the Batcave and then going up to everything and then going to a party and then I'm going to be Batman again. It's like the movie starts as him as Bruce Wayne being Bruce Wayne, and I don't know, we could be introduced to what the Batcave looks like or whatever, just to give people a sense of what that stuff is because people want to see that. The funny thing is this ended up kind of happening, not literally in the one night storyline, but the fact that we barely touch on Bruce Wayne and the Batcave and some of these different things. Like Alfred has very minimal screen time. This first movie was Batman. They kind of did do that, not in this literal way, but it is funny that we kind of circled the idea through a different context.
Okay, opening. Friggin', we'll include my original opening of him taking out the robbers.
I still like
Take
that.
out the robbers, and like he like walks out and he looks, bat symbol. Then you can do all the credits, and maybe you can do cuts of him like traveling through Gotham. He gets to Gotham PD. There's Gordon. You meet your Gordon, and he goes, "We've got a situation. Mayor's daughter's been kidnapped. We don't know where she is. This is the only clue we have. Enter detective work." He's radioing to Alfred. He's searching Gotham. Start your role of him fighting through people, doing detective work.
I think this is really funny because Zach's inciting incident of a possible first movie is Gordon summoning Batman to investigate the mayor's daughter being kidnapped, and it's that word for word, except for instead of mayor's daughter being kidnapped, it is mayor was murdered. But otherwise, he pitched the opening of this movie.
My Instagram is Zach Does Stuff. Twitter is like Zach1771, I think, or like Zach Sexton 1771. Yeah, I've got a website called Historically Hockey where I bitch and rant about hockey jerseys, and every once in a while I read about other stuff like comic books, wrestling, movies.
So what do you guys think? Did we kind of predict the Batman? And when I say we, I mean Zach. I shared a couple small things, but nothing that I don't think anyone else was saying. Zach weirdly, specifically detailed numerous things that ended up being in that final movie, and it just blows me away. Like I said, that conversation is large. It's over an hour. It's like a podcast. It's kind of the style we were going for. I don't plan to become like a comic book oriented channel where this is all I do, but I'm making more room for it in the channel than I have in the previous 2 years. One of the things I'm doing is slowly reviewing the entirety of the MCU Infinity Saga over the course of this year. Right now, I just have my video on the Iron Man trilogy. Coming up soon, like in the scale of days, I'm going to have a Captain America trilogy video, and we'll keep going from there. This is a video I kind of always knew I wanted to make. I liked the idea of that 2019 video being a bit of a time capsule. It's really fun to come back to and really specifically compare now that we actually have the movie to compare to. But it also helped me out just having a bit of a quick video to put together while we wait for that Captain America video. It's taking a while. It's large. I still want to make a dedicated The Batman movie review. There's a real chance I don't do that till 2023. I have this year very heavily scheduled and planned out, and I have like a fun idea for how I could do a Batman review 1 year later. And so yeah, I'm putting that one in the vault as a thing that I probably will end up doing March 2023. That's how far ahead I plan some of this stuff. It's crazy to think. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll have links down below if you want to watch those full conversations, and I hope to see you all again soon.